All right, welcome to the latest episode of the Closer's Corner podcast. My name is Greg Simpson, and I am your host, as always. So, today's podcast, we're going to talk about why we recently made a switch from a flat fee brokerage to a split model, or I should say back to a split model, and with a capping model. And there's a couple of different reasons for that. Actually, a lot of different reasons for that, and I'll break some of that stuff down. But before we kind of go into the why we made that switch, I want to talk a little bit about what the major differences are between a split model like we are now versus what we were, which was a flat fee model. And so there's obviously basically two different types of models of real estate brokerages out there, one being a split model, one being a flat fee model, okay, or 100% commission, I should say. You know, a split model where you're splitting commissions with your brokerage and a 100% commission brokerage. And as someone who just released this morning the marketing versus branding podcast, one of the major differences is literally just marketing. Okay, there is no such thing as a 100% commission brokerage. That is a farce. That is a lie. That is bullshit. Because the reason I got asked that, I want to talk about that, is because I had an agent who is, I would say, 99% joining us. That is a brand new agent, but she wants to be a flipper. Her and her fiance and her a couple friends want to flip houses, and she's like, I got approached by a 100% commission brokerage. How does that even work? And so I'm going to explain what that means in this episode today. But a split model is you're splitting commissions with your broker and brokerage. 100% commission is that there's 100% commission, which means you are paying transaction fees, flat fees, if you will, a flat fee brokerage like I mentioned earlier. But the thing is that a flat fee brokerage can add up to be a lot of money over time, okay? So that's kind of the bigger difference in the split is like, so if you go to a big box brokerage, I would say probably 95 to 99% of all of the big box brokerages, the franchised style brokerages, stuff like that, they're all on a split model. Some of them are massive splits, some of them are nominal, and some of them are somewhere in the middle. If you're looking at like a Keller Williams, EXP, a lot of the other ones like them, those are Century 21, some of the big boxes out there, right? They are all on split fees, and there's a reason for it. And we found that out very quickly as we were a 100% brokerage for the last 2 years. We found out there are a lot of pros and cons to both sides, and I'm going to explain why we made this switch during this whole thing as well. So the thing is when you go from a split brokerage to a 100% commission, aka a flat fee brokerage, the flat fee brokerage means you're paying typically a low monthly fee or zero monthly fee, and then you're paying every time you do a transaction, you're paying a transaction fee to the brokerage, which ranges anywhere, if I've seen, as low as $300 like ours was, all the way up to $1,000, okay? So when I tell you you're not making 100% commission, that's what I'm talking about. You're paying a transaction fee of between $300 and $1,000 per transaction. So if you are a producer, sometimes that actually bites you in the ass, okay? Because typically there is no cap at a flat fee brokerage on how much you're paying them in transaction fees. There's a couple out there, and some of them are low, some of them are medium, again, some are high. Every brokerage has their own different model, okay? We did not have a cap here on our flat fee transaction model. But the reason why is because we added value to the brokerage, or for the agents. The thing is, though, at a traditional 100% commission brokerage, you as the agent are on your own for everything. You are paying for everything. And when I mean everything, I mean everything. You're paying for marketing. You're paying for the designing your business cards and printing your business cards. You're paying for your CRM. You're paying for your signature software, aka Dot Loop or DocuSign or HelloSign. You're paying for that out of pocket. You're paying for your errors and omissions insurance. You're paying for your CRM like KV Core or BombBomb or Boomtown, or Follow Up Boss. And yeah, you're paying for that out of pocket. That gets super expensive, especially on an individual agent's rate. You're paying for all of your flyers. You're paying for your pens. You're paying for everything. You're paying for literally every bit of marketing that is done by you. Your brokerage isn't paying for any leads for you. There's no training. So that's a big one that I hear a lot of, especially newbie agents. Don't you dare go to flat fee brokerage if they don't offer training. And 95% of those don't, because they don't make any money because they have no infrastructure in place to have that. It was rare that we have an online university for our agents on a flat fee model. It's rare that you will ever see that. And so you're paying for any ongoing support. When you are a flat fee brokerage, good luck getting a hold of your broker unless it is like a dire emergency. You can't even get a hold of someone typically at the office to handle that. You're not getting any sort of support on your transactions. You're not getting questions answered by anyone on the team. There's no office access a lot of times too, because most of these flat fee / 100% brokerages don't even have an office. One, they may not have an office. Two, they may not have an office that you can even access. And I'm not knocking flat fee brokers. I'm not knocking split fee brokers. We've done it both. We've done it both ways. We have been successful both ways as well. That just like to come over here. So you gotta weigh the pros and cons. So yeah, flat fee / 100% brokerage sounds great in theory, but as soon as you start stacking up all those costs, you might as well be at a flat or a split brokerage in the first place, because a typical split brokerage, with a capping model in place, provides all that stuff for you for free or as part of the split. And so we have been acting as a flat fee brokerage for almost 2 years, or right around 2 years. And in all honesty, it was great. It helped us recruit a lot of agents. But the problem is we weren't making enough money to support the agents the way that we have always wanted to support them. And so we have a couple other things that we wanted to do with our brokerage, and a couple other things with some really badass things that we're working on here at Out Fast. And so I want to break down a couple of things as well when it comes to that, okay? So one thing that we wanted to really do is provide a lot more support. And it's really hard to do that, guys, on a flat fee / 100% commission brokerage as the broker. There's only so much we can do for a nominal low fee. Okay, we had I would say substantial monthly fee to help offset some of that stuff, but it's still not enough to produce what we wanted at our core to change the lives of real estate agents. Okay, and so one of the main things that was a struggle for us, with not being on a flat fee, or with being on a flat fee and not being on a split, which means we make more money off the agents over time, is that we couldn't offer enough support. We couldn't offer the right amount of trainings, and we didn't offer the right amount of marketing, and also a couple other things I'm going to get to. So on the support thing, I got some notes here and on the support thing, while we have some really cool support things such as a group chat, we have a support system such as, being able to get a hold of me or Cloder, or our office admin, who is now Lauren. We weren't able to really get into the weeds on that because, guys, I only work about 20 hours a week, if that, as the team leader, when I was doing it all myself. I was being spread too thin between the brokerage and running that, between training and support, and all those things that go into that, with flipping houses, buying rental properties, helping out with the hard money lending, helping out with the mortgage company, and helping out with some of the other cool things that I've got that will come at the later of the podcast, so do not tune away. Okay? And also training is a big thing. It's a support mechanism. And so we did put together an online university several years ago, before we had even made the switch to the flat fee / 100% commission model, so that, we put a lot of money, a lot of time, effort, honestly, actually literally blood, sweat, and tears. I remember the microphone coming down and hit me in the head and actually drew blood off my face, so I can actually say blood in that. That was a lot of fun that day. I literally was ready to kill somebody. But we put together the online university. But now what Lauren and I, because we now have a team leader, because we can afford to hire more and more staff. And that's the thing is, like, when you go to a traditional brokerage like the big boxes, or now us as a split, any other split model, you have a lot more infrastructure in place. You have more people that can help. You have more. It gives us the ability to hire more people to expand and be more to the agents, right? And so, like, before, I would always just defer to the university, or make sure you're on our Monday morning calls, because we always incorporated some sort of training in our Monday morning call. And so now, because Lauren is taking the training off of my plate, now I'm assisting her with this, don't get me wrong, but now she's running it. We actually have just launched 3 new training programs that launch right now. I believe they start next week. Obviously, by the time this is recorded, they will already have been launched. Or I should say this drops. Here's the thing. We're doing 2 revolving 12-week programs. Every Tuesday at lunchtime, we're doing a segment on social media training. Every Thursday, we're doing a segment on prospecting. And then once a month, at the end of every month, we're doing a 3-hour KV Core implementation day style thing, where we're basically from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock at night, I think is what we're doing. Once a month, we're going to do deep dives into our KV Core system to basically get people up and running on it as fast as possible. So, like, all of our new agents will get access to this KV Core implementation day, where we just, go all in on setting up your KV Core and getting it up and running, so that you can, start running leads and start managing your leads and stuff like that, so that our agents can be successful from the get-go. Okay, so that's coming. That's all happening starting next week. And so that's the kind of extra training that we can provide now as a split brokerage. We could not do that before. I didn't have the time, nor were I'm getting paid enough money. And let's be honest, we're a business. We got to make money so that we can support more agents and support everything else. So the next thing I want to talk about is marketing. Again, if you're on a traditional flat fee / 100% commission thing, again, all your marketing is on your own. And that was what we did. While we provided leads for our agents, they weren't like exorbitant amounts of leads for them. We sure as hell don't offer seller leads. We offer seller referrals. So if, like, a seller that I personally know wants to sell their house, I'm referring that to my inner circle of agents here, if you will. But, like, now with what we have made our switch to that, like, one of the extra value adds we wanted to make for our agents is basically giving them free marketing. And so that's kind of working for us, is like, if you have a new listing with our software that we use, we will actually be giving you a credit, or we'll be running the ads for you, and we'll be running buyer leads for that particular listing. And so we'll also be getting them open house flyers printed and done for them. All they got to do is swing them by, pick it up. Another thing we're doing is, like, when they have a just sold, we're actually running their ads for them to get more seller leads in. So the listing agent gets all the leads from their closing of that property and selling that property. They're going to get to be able to leverage that into more marketing that we're paying for. And then we're also giving them their first 100 just sold postcards sent out on our behalf as part of that marketing. And so it gives us more marketing on, for the agent level, but then on the brokerage side, having a split model gives us more ability to get exposure out there to the masses that Out Fast Realty, we're here to stay, and we're kicking ass and taking names, so that our agents have more confidence in saying, yeah, I work for Out Fast, because we're getting to the point where most people have heard of us at this point, at least in our local market. And now I'll get into the expansion part here in a minute. One thing we also wanted to add, and where I've seen other brokerages fail, is on the transaction coordination side. Is sometimes brokerages will hire, even on a flat fee model, they'll hire a virtual assistant, or they'll hire someone on salary to run transaction coordination. Well, guess what? Working on salary does not work for transaction coordination. So with us being a split model now, we're allocating money from that split to pay for listing agents transaction coordination. So again, getting off topic a little bit of why we made the switch, but like the point is that we wanted to just stack more and more value on top of everything we already were doing on the flat fee side to the agents, with a split model now in place. So another thing, one of the main reasons we're doing it is that we are in the process of massive expansion. We are in the process of franchising our brokerage across the state and across the country. And the bigger thing we ran into is while we weren't making enough money, offering enough support, training, marketing, all that stuff I just mentioned, the bigger thing is it is literally impossible to scale out across even a state on a flat fee 100% commission model. Because if we were to, say, sell a franchise in Miami, the price point of Miami is a little bit higher than it is here in Tampa. If we were to sell to someone or sell a franchise in California or New York City, you guys already know that the price points in those areas are much higher. So it means we'd have to have basically a different commission structure for all of these different Out Fast flags planted in the ground all over the United States, and that was just going to be a logistical effing nightmare. And so while we are in the process of doing that, we did not want to make ourselves any more crazy than we already are with everything that we have going on. There was no way I wanted to try and have literally 30, 40, 50 different models all across the country. That is just not what my business coach would have ever allowed me to do. All right, so, and because we are going national, if you will, on that, we have basically also are in the process of launching our brand new capital raise public offering, where anyone listening to this podcast, anyone across the country, will be able to invest in what we're doing here at Out Fast with as little as $1,000. And so with that being said, we wanted to offer some really cool stuff because we're basically going what's called mini public, kind of like going to be looked at as like EXP and Compass and some of the other big boys out there. Obviously, we're a teeny tiny ant compared to those guys right now, but we're going to go what's called mini public because we do something so different than everybody else with the flipping, with the property management, with the acquisitions of wholesale deals and rental properties and apartment complexes and all that stuff that we have plans of doing with the mortgage company and hard money and all that stuff being wrapped into one offering. We are just doing something so different. With that being said, we also are going to be offering stock options to our agents. We at our 5-year anniversary party, we issued $100,000 worth of stock options right here in the studio here from our office. And so we have plans of offering that to everyone on the split plan, because you can't do that on a flat fee because I'm not giving you stock options. I ain't making any money off of you. Let's just be fair, right? So now all of our agents get stock options when they sign up. They get stock options when they close deals, and they get stock options when they've been with the brokerage for a year, 2 years, or I'm sorry, a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and so on. And so they also are getting stock options if they cap. So the faster you guys cap, you actually get some stock options there. And also, we wanted to put out a really badass referral program and recruitment plan for our agents called our Straight Line Referral Plan, a Straight Line to Financial Freedom Plan. That is basically an agent referral plan where if our agents recruit 25 agents, for every 25 they recruit, we are basically gifting them an investment property with financing in place. Details to follow. There's a lot of fine print with all that stuff. But yes, we are literally gifting out real estate to our agents because it comes down to the investment culture that we've built here, that we want our agents to be financially free, and we want them to have a retirement plan. This whole plan that I've just talked about, the stock options and the straight line, are part of our 401R plan. And so this is a big deal. It is something completely different out there that no one has. And so we wanted to make sure that we could sustain that, and we just couldn't freaking do it at 100% commission / flat fee model without charging exorbitant amount of fees for that. And we've run the numbers. If you're a top producer, you actually will make more money being here than at 100% commission style brokerage, guaranteed. We've used our own top producers to run those numbers. It is actually better to be on our split of an 85-15 with a $15,000 cap. So that's the big difference. That's why we made the switch, because we have more than just this local mentality of doing real estate deals here locally. We want to be a national brand. We've been saying that since we started it. We really made the push to do that 3 years ago, and here we are we are in the process of making this massive push, this massive franchising push, this massive capital raise push. So again, that's why we made the switch. And if you're looking to make a switch or you're looking to get started in real estate as an investor or as an agent, you need to come talk to us here at Out Fast Realty. We'll break all this stuff down even further for you. We're launching a brand new webinar where you can go because we're getting a lot of interest in joining us here. It is very difficult for us to do a lot of one-off meetings, so we're starting to do a webinar. So there should be a link in the show notes, a link on the page here for you. If you're a brand new agent or if you're an agent looking to make a switch, you can sign up for the free webinar where it's about 30 minutes or so, maybe 45, where we basically show you what we do, how we do it, how you guys can benefit from being a part of the Out Fast Realty Dealmakers Tribe, and then if you have any questions after that, we can set up a one-on-one quick call to answer any questions that weren't answered in our webinar. The webinar is live, but we obviously can't be here for hours upon hours. So if you have any questions afterwards, you will get a link to schedule a call with Lauren. And if you guys found value, as always, in the Closers Corner podcast, please make sure you like us on and subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, or wherever else you get your podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Give us a like as well. Give us a little comment down below, and we'll see you guys on the next episode of the Closers Corner podcast.
Back.